Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. We'll be right back to the show. But before we do, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, factormeals.com, where if you go to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50, you can get 50% off your first order. That's factormeals.com/unbroken50. If you're like me and you are a person who is busy trying to create a life, heal, work on their health, wealth, and relationships, and not to mention deal with the day-to-days of normal life, you do not have time to be going to the grocery store and trying to figure out what you're going to cook every single day of the week. In fact, one time I did the math and I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week at the grocery store and cooking. When I added Factor, I got to use that time for myself, for my family, for my friends, for my community, and for my business. And so if you're in the place where you need some more support in the kitchen, head to factormeals.com/unbroken50 and use the code unbroken50 to get 50% off. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program. Welcome to the Michael Unbroken podcast. I'm Michael Anthony, author, speaker, coach, mentor, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. And in this podcast, I'm going to be bringing you the best of what I understand about healing trauma, overcoming our past, and ultimately becoming the hero of our own story. This podcast is not a replacement for mental health, but instead, think of it as a companion to help guide you into what is next in your life. My friend, thank you so much for being here with me. Do me a favor before we get started. Hit subscribe, like, comment, leave a review, tell a friend about it. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. Let's get into the show. Have you read my book, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma? If you haven't, then now is the time because I am giving away free copies of my book, Think Unbroken, for the rest of the year. All you have to do is go to traumahealingbook.com to get your free copy. The reality is that as I think about the world and where we are right now with things, it is more important than ever, if we are going to step onto the path of healing generational trauma together, that we do it through education. And when I wrote my book, I never expected it to become an international bestseller. I certainly didn't expect it to sell thousands and thousands of copies as it has. And the one thing that I know to be true about this experience is that the more people that read it, the more impact we can have on the world. And so I invite you to read it for free at traumahealingbook.com. I only ask that you cover the shipping and handling. And the reason is because, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a millionaire, and I would go into debt if I gave everyone in the world a free copy of my book. So I'll cover the book. You cover the shipping and handling. You grab your copy at traumahealingbook.com. And I'm so excited to have you on this journey and this mission to think unbroken. Hey, what's up, my friends? Hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I'm Michael Anthony, author, speaker, coach, and advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. And you are listening or watching the Michael Unbroken podcast. So one of the questions that I got this week that really hit home with me, that made me pause and go, how do I help people with something that you cannot possibly help them with? And that is the struggle of knowing when you are healed. And this is a question I get all the time. People send me on TikTok and Instagram, and I talk to with my clients in coaching, and anyone who I coach one-on-one, they know that the number one word that I use is patience. But I understand the frustration. Trust me, I do. As someone who is constantly in this zone, and someone who is even still, all these years later, and in consideration of what I do, still on my own personal healing journey. And I don't know that it ever ends. And the struggle that I think so many people struggle with, no pun intended, which is also mine as well, is just that moment of being like, when am I done? Like, am I healing? Am I doing it right? As things like, what is this that's happening in my life? And what I want you to think about here for a moment is, how do you ever know if you've ever accomplished anything in your life? And there's always a measurement of, to some extent, of looking at your life versus now versus where you were. And what do I mean by that? Here's my measurement for healing. So I've told this story before, but not that long ago, a couple years, 3 years almost now, I was sitting in my therapist's office and I said, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I don't want to be here. I'm tired of talking to you every Wednesday. Like, when is this over? And he said something really fascinating to me. And he was like, I don't know that it is. And that's a hard pill to swallow, right? It really truly is, because we want this just to be done. We want to move on with our lives. We want to go to what's next. We want to say, hey, I don't struggle with this anymore. We want to have the full gamut of love and compassion and emotions and hope and joy and all of those things that are possible for us as human beings. And yet we find ourselves still in this place of struggling. But the struggle is the measurement, right? I would ask you, what is the point that you are measuring that quantifies whether or not you've healed? It's a difficult question, isn't it? At what point do you quantify? Like, what is the data there that you can look up in 3 years, 5 years, 12 years, 28 years, whatever that time may be, look at it, measure it, and say, okay, here is when I'm done? And I smirk and I smile at that, because I don't know that you can. And I'll tell you right now, for myself personally, I cannot. Now, I want to be clear, one of the things that's really powerful about this journey is that eventually what happens is you recognize, if you stay in it long enough and you do the work and you show up for yourself and you have coaches, or you listen to these podcasts and you read the books and you go to therapy and you do the whole nine, life gets better. Life gets easier. Navigating trauma becomes a part of your life. Understanding your triggers, understanding your reactions, understanding your behavioral patterns all become easier, because you start to identify, you start to get a better understanding of who it is that you are, in conjunction with the person that you're moving towards and want to be as self-defined, because, well, this is your narrative. And so with that understanding, can you create a data point in your life that becomes the measurement in which you quantify this is where I am healed. And I think the struggle for so many people is that they can't. I can't. I have no idea what that would look like. I don't. But I think about, what does my life look like today versus just who is Michael today versus Michael 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And the goal, the mission for me is, I've recognized this is it. This is life. This is the journey. Every day that we're in this, every day we're stepping onto this path to create change in our life. Like, this is the game. This is how it works. You show up, you do the things, you get uncomfortable, you learn, you make mistakes, you grow, you move forward, you heal here and there, a little bit at a time, every single day from now until the end. Hey, what's up, my friend? Before we get into today's episode, just want to take a moment of your time and tell you about the 30-day Think Unbroken small group trauma healing challenge. What I've done is taken the best of everything that I've learned over the last few years of being a trauma-informed coach, through my own certification processes, through my own trauma healing journey, and more, and compiled it into the most in-depth 30-day challenge that's ever existed in healing trauma. And I want to invite you to it. If you go to healtraumacoach.com, there's more information, but as a quick overview, you're going to step into not only learning the baseline of healing through the 6 principles of healing trauma, but the 6 pillars of healing trauma, through reframing, through creating self-love, through understanding personal boundaries, through creating wants, needs, and interests, through understanding your ACE score and how that impacts you, including the science of trauma, and more. And I created this challenge because I want us to come together as a group and as a community. And one of the things really special about this 30-day small group coaching challenge is not only will you go live with me weekly as we go into the depths of healing trauma, but also you're going to be assigned to anonymous teams where you can remain anonymous and have support and have community. Think of it like a digital support group, but you don't have to show your face or say your name. One of the reasons that I did that is because in my own journey, the most powerful moments that I had were within these groups, and I want to give that to you as well. So I invite you to check out healtraumacoach.com. The first session starts on April 1st. I'm only allowing a handful of people into this first session. So if you're curious and you want to know more, check out healtraumacoach.com, and I will see you in the challenge. And some days are going to be harder than others, and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fuck up because that's life. And then some days are going to be really beautiful and bright and sunny and easy. And you're going to look at your life and say, this is great. Like, I'm super excited. I've done all this shit, all this work, all this therapy, all this journaling for 20 years or 8 years or 12 months or however long it takes you. And look, here's what's really fascinating. A little insider trading secret for you as being a coach in this space is, I have clients from all walks of life. When we sit down in one-on-one coaching, everyone has a different story. And everyone has a different mission, and everyone has a different understanding of the person it is that they're moving towards being as defined by them. But the one thing that everyone that I work with has in common is that they have to learn to understand patience. Because this is the most frustrating thing that we will do. Healing is so incredibly frustrating because I get it. Like, I just wake up in the morning, I'm like, can I be done? Like, is this over yet? Like, can we be into next year? Can we be into like next life, whatever that thing may be? And when you deploy patience against the understanding of the reality that, and this might be hard for you to hear. And so I want to be clear when I say this, like, this doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but it's just my understanding that this is your life. Every day from now till the end, this is it. This is your life. The healing, it's right now, it's yesterday, it's tomorrow, it's in 5 minutes. It's literally listening to this podcast right now, sitting here, taking this in. This is healing. And the struggle, how do you work through the struggle? For me, because I got like the anger that I would feel about this journey, about the going to therapy, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally wiping myself out financially. Like, I can't even explain to you therapy, men's group therapy, CBT, EMDR, like the whole nine. Then you add in the body work, massage, acupuncture, more and more and more and more. Then you add in all the other things. Like eventually I looked at it, I literally sat down, I added up one day. I could buy like 3 houses with how much money that I've spent in my own trauma healing journey. That does not even factor in the certifications and the certificates that I now have as a coach, which are tens of thousands more of dollars. And the struggle for me was always this point of measurement. Like, when is it done? When is it enough? When is it over? When do I get to move on? And then I recognized something really important. I was struggling because I was trying to make an end of something. I was struggling, like so many people are, because I was trying to create an end out of something that may not ever end. I know that's tough to hear. I don't know that there's a stopping point here. I don't know that one day it's magically different. You've heard me say this before. There's no Disney moment. It ain't happening. It's not ever going to happen. The Disney moment is right now, every single day, every single moment of this life that you're showing up for yourself. This is you. And so if you're struggling with like, how do I heal? Like, how do I do this? The number one measurement for this journey is looking at the person you are today versus the person you were yesterday and asking yourself a very important question. How do I feel about myself when I'm by myself? Am I doing the things in my life to be the hero of my own story? Am I making the changes? Am I growing? Am I healing? Am I showing up for me first? And as you move through that and you get closer and more intertwined with who it is that you are, the struggle, like realistically in my experience, it dampens. It doesn't feel so daunting, right? It doesn't feel so daunting that one day, hopefully things will be different, because now I just go, well, today can be different. 5 minutes can be, you could change your life right now. Your struggle is that you're trying to measure something that has an intangible that cannot be calculated by the human brain. And that's self-love. And that's trust and healing and happiness and human connection and capacity and belief and all those other things that you cannot measure, right? They are immeasurable. And you sit and you wait and you look for it and you reach for it, but it doesn't ever land in your hand, because I don't think that's how this works. But if every day you show up for yourself and your measurement is who am I today versus who I was yesterday, versus who I was 6 months ago, versus who I was 10 years ago, and you ask yourself, am I doing this really, like authentically? And you give yourself grace, which is so incredibly important because you're going to make mistakes. And then you deploy an unlimited amount of patience while measuring the reality that this might actually be life. Not that it doesn't get better. Let's be clear. If you're struggling right now because life fucking sucks, it gets better. But you have to be patient. And that measurement of struggle will evolve and will change. And in my own personal experience, and many of my clients who I've had this conversation with, when we take off the time-restricted parameter of trauma healing, life gets so much easier. My friend, I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please do me a favor. Like, comment, share, leave a review, tell a friend. And until next time, my friend, be unbroken. I'll see ya. Thank you so much for hanging out today with the Michael Unbroken podcast. Before we head off, do me a favor, please. Hit that like or subscribe button, leave a comment or review, and tell a friend. It would mean the world to me. And just so you know, I read every single review. I listen to your questions. And if you need to, you can reach out to me directly anywhere on social media at Michael Unbroken, or email me directly to michael@thinkunbroken.com. Remember, my friend, though trauma may be our foundation, it is not our future. Until next time, be unbroken. I'll see ya. Hey, my friends, we will be right back to the show. But I have a question for you. Are you struggling with the impact of childhood trauma? Well, know that you're not alone. I'm here to let you know that I'm starting a brand new weekly coaching group that includes a year of life coaching, accountability, support, habit and goal setting, and more. I'm starting a waitlist for the group right now, and I'm only taking a handful of people. And I'll let you know that through this personalized coaching, we'll work together to help you understand how your childhood trauma has shaped your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, and will help you create a roadmap for healing and growth. Right now, you can schedule an absolutely free coaching session with me and get put on the wait list if you go to thinkunbroken.com. My friends, it's your time to turn your trauma into triumph, breakdowns into breakthroughs, and become the hero of your own story. And I'm here to support you in doing that. Just go to thinkunbroken.com to register for a free coaching call with me and to get put on the wait list for the brand new weekly coaching program.
Jake Knapp is the inventor of the Design Sprint and the New York Times bestselling author of the book Sprint. He's also the co-founder of Character, a venture fund for early stage startups. How and why did you start using Miro?
I came from this position of thinking, I don't want to be doing stuff online, to thinking now when I do a sprint in person with a company, it's like, we're going to use Miro, even though we're all in the same room, because that's a better way for us to get this work done. As an investor, we're basically investing in their ability to solve problems. We're saying, we think this group of people is going to be able to solve a problem in a really great way and create value by doing it. And actually, you need to give people the tools that can help them make decisions, help them collaborate, help them visualize and see things in a different way. And Miro does all those things. So to me, at least as an investor, I'm thinking, give the team the tools that are going to help them think, that are going to make the most, brighten their skills as smart folks. And Miro is at the top of that list for me.